You go down on one of these waves and it's all of your nightmares coming true. But it's so intense in the situation that you're not able to focus on much but surviving that moment. You go through the beatdown, you're underwater, you just focus on getting to the surface. As soon as you hit that surface, there's one thing you want to see, and that's like, in our scenario, it's a Kurtis coming at you with his hand out, or the ski there, sliding the sled and putting it in front of you.
Everybody asks me, Kurtis, are you scared? If somebody tells you they're not scared, they're lying. For me, every swell, I'm terrified. And you know what? I've learned to take my fear and use it to be on point. When you stop fearing and you stop, like being too comfortable, you put yourself in situations to where you don't want to be, So having my fear, I use it as leverage to be on point. Hello, my name is Kurtis Chong Kee. I'm a water safety driver out of Piahi, and I'm a Sea-Doo ambassador. Can't honestly say I was born into it. I got pictures of my mom carrying me when I'm a month old while my dad is fishing on the beach. That's all I've known. I grew up from a young age. That's all I did. All I dreamed about was being a ulua fisherman. It's a giant trevally here in Hawaii. It's like a real prized shoreline fish. So my whole life, I wanted to do that, did that. And then how I got onto Sea-Doos on the water was running rescue. And I was like, you know what? Like, this is when jet ski fishing kind of first started in Hawaii. Like when it started, guys did it here and there. But when I was out there, just sitting out there with filmers, I was like, you know what? Put a couple pole holders on this thing. I wonder if I could go trolling on this thing. Like, let's see what happens. And so that's how I got onto Sea-Doos with fishing. Was, you know what? Let's put some pole holders. Let's start fishing, and that's how I started fishing in the units.
What's up, bro?
Hello, brother.
How's it going, bro?
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for having me out here.
My pleasure.
If we could figure out how to take some of that knowledge and then even some of your history that you have and embed it into a design that is specific to you, that is kind of like has a pilina or has like has a tie to your generational story too, then we can figure out how to have a design speak to that as well as make sure that it looks good too for the Sea-Doo. So I think for me, just to be able to get to know you a little bit, that gives me the opportunity to try and create a design that is specific for you. This vessel looks like it has a bunch of stories. And so I'm sure there's a few stories that you have that got you into water safety in the first place, but is there anyone that comes top of mind?
Back in the day, I had a really good friend of mine. He was kind of in the scene when paddling first started, and tragically, he took his own life. He was my best friend. But by his passing, it brought our community together. And when I mean our community, I'm talking like all the big wave surfers. That was one clique on Maui, and kind of got me involved. And I started working with my friends. And I never was I can surf, but I'm not near that level to even think about surfing Piahi, and I'm okay with that. But what I was really good at was racing dirt bikes. So when you jump on top of Sea-Doo like this, it's like riding a dirt bike on the water. So I transitioned into it pretty good. I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to do something, and water safety was something to where I could be a part of it. I actually started driving filmers, and it got to the point where I was watching guys going in. I'm like, hold on, guys. Oh, he took one on the head. Oh, come on, guys. Like, come on. You get an opportunity to get them. And it got to the point to where I was like, you know what, bro, I kind of sit here and just idle around with a filmer on top. I like being the action. I like being a part of this. And that kind of sparked me to like, this is what I want to do. This is more my style. I don't like sitting around watching things and watching people almost die. I want to be the part of the solution. We're kind of like the guys in the background, in the shadows. Nobody really knows about us. You watch a big Jaws movie, you'll see, oh, look at that wave, the guy goes down. Next clip. What people don't realize, what goes on after that clip. What happens to that surfer when he's getting tumbled and struggling for his life. There's not much people around the world that can do what we do. So I think it's very important what I do. The sport of surfing and the big waves would not be where it is today without these guys being comfortable, knowing that they got somebody coming in for them.
having this kind of vessel available to you, how does that push like the progression of big wave surfing?
It's insane because, especially with a Sea-Doo, it's like I've had units in the past to where they get stuck in the foam. The foam is so intense, you get cavitation, and in your mind, you know the unit's not gonna make it, so you have that hesitation. The way that Sea-Doo came about these things, it just fit perfect into our lifestyle. This came natural. This thing just feels like it's all souped up already, but it's stock. I never saw myself as being one of the top guys. Like, people tell me I'm considered one of the top guys in the world. I don't think that. I am very blessed to be in that conversation. I don't think I am, and I'm cool with that, you know what I mean? I love what I do.
How's it going, brah?
How's everything?
Been a little bit?
Yeah.
It's going good. How you doing?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a couple things in store. One of the parts of our process is called makawalu. And makawalu just simply means maka, eyes, and then walu, 8. But because of how dynamic the Hawaiian language is, you have like one word, but it could have 8 different meanings. And so makawalu is that idea of being able to view the language with 8 different levels. For me, what's special about this project, instead of us working with a brand, I actually get to talk to an individual and get to see what is your values as both, you know, a Hawaiian, as a part of the community, as especially a part of the community of East Maui too. So I got to go through different research and different ideas. One of the main ones was just the idea of canoes and migration, because I think that canoes and migration speak to a similar parallel of what the Sea-Doo offers as a vessel, you know? So one of the first design ideas was the lashing. Not only the lashing as like functional to be able to hold the canoe together, but also the figurative meaning of lashing as how do you hold a family group together. Also too, in your function as a water safety professional, the idea of guardian or the idea of protector like always was kind of prevalent in my head. Trying to figure out like what plants or what do we have in our native forests that kind of have that same parallel. And so koa was one of the first ones that just kind of popped up to me. It's referred to as the father of the forest, as a guardian and as a protector, because it makes sure that there's growth in the understory. As I was thinking about koa, I was trying to figure out like, okay, how do we bring in this ocean aspect? And I was like, oh wait, you take the term koa and you just add a okina between the o and the a, it turns into koa. And so koa is simply like the term for reef in Hawaiian. And so koa was an important one because one, koa can be kind of like that zone or that space that your professional water safety is in. And at the same time, koa can represent that reef or that marking of an area that you do your subsistence fishing at. All the elements together have this contextual narrative as a part of it, but all of it was specifically because of what I gathered from you the last time that we talked Starry, and that's what got implemented onto the vessel.
When hearing about something that represents my life in and out of the water, and especially with my ties with my family, to me, there's nothing deeper than that. So seeing someone's vision of that coming to life is very special because it's one of a kind. I feel very honored and blessed for something like this to happen. We're real tight in Hawaii. You know, everybody is somebody's cousin or related somehow. You know, so it's a family. When somebody needs us, we'll transition and we'll help on land or in the water.